Welcome to Sreekanth Nalagarla channel. My name is Sreekanth. This channel having manual testing videos, Selenium WebDriver videos and QTP videos. To visit my channel, go for this link. If you like my videos, please subscribe and share to your friends. Lastly, what is the last class we have discussed? We have discussed in last class introduction of the Selenium, and then what is the components of the Selenium, components of Selenium like IDE, RC, WebDriver and Appium, and we can go for the grid. So this is all the components we are giving the introduction of last class. Okay, and coming to the here today we'll discuss very fastly what is the Selenium IDE. It is just recording and playback tool with user interface. This Selenium IDE working only Firefox browser, not all the browsers, because of it is a add-on of the Firefox browser. And coming to the RC, remote control we are calling, or 1.0, Selenium 1.0 they are calling. This is a older version of the Selenium and which is used for implementing the functionality testing. But this RC having the one drawback: to start the Selenium, Selenium RC, before that you need to start the Selenium server. After stopping the Selenium RC, you need to stop the Selenium server through program. So every time starting and stopping the server through program, lot of issues will be raising. So, and these will be officially deprecated. In the place of this RC, Selenium people will start the developing WebDriver that we are calling as a Selenium 2.0 we are calling. What is the Selenium WebDriver? It is a latest version of the Selenium and which is used for implementing the functionality testing. Actually, what is a Selenium WebDriver? It is having the set of powerful programs. These programs we are downloading from the website, and these website we are downloading the jar files, and this set of jar files, set of powerful programs, configure into our Eclipse. Using that all the jar file information and using Eclipse, we can start the writing manual test case to automation and test the application. So this is we are calling as a Selenium WebDriver we are calling introduction. And coming to here, if you enter into the Selenium WebDriver, first you need to understand what is a Eclipse and what is a core Java. This is all you need to understand. This is all you need to understand. Then only, okay, we'll start with our Selenium WebDriver. First of all, today we'll start a discussion. What is a Eclipse? How to set up the Eclipse in our system? That we will go for the discussion. First, if you want to go for the Eclipse in your system, you need to install the Java. First point, this is a prerequisite to set up the Eclipse in your system. And coming to the, after installing the Java, JDK, then you need to download the Eclipse. No need to install anything in the Eclipse, just to download. Now how to use this Eclipse, we'll start a discussion. First of all, how to download the Eclipse and start the install. And last class already I'm giving how to download and install, right? So you are installing and setuping in your system. Okay, fine. So after installing this Eclipse, after installing the JDK and Eclipse, now how we can go for that? Now see, now first we can go for the installing the JDK. This is a prerequisite for the Eclipse. And after downloading the Eclipse, now you need to start the opening the Eclipse. Before open the Eclipse, you need to understand what we are planning to go for the Eclipse. First, we need to create the workspace. This is we are calling as a workspace. We need to create. What is mean by workspace? You are planning to creating lot of programs, lot of scripts that all in which location you need to save it. And you are planning to create the projects that all the project related script where you need to save it. That place only we are calling as a workspace we are calling. Okay. After creating the workspace, and then we can go for the project we need to create. This is a project you need to create here. Whenever you are creating the project, automatically one source file also coming. And this source file you need to start the creating the one package. Inside the package, you need to create the class. In this class, you can write the manual script to automation script. So in this class, you can write the manual test case to automation script. It's very clear. So what we are discussing here means, before open the Eclipse, first you need to understand what is a workspace. Whatever the information, what is the scripts you are saving, that location we are calling as a workspace. In this workspace, you need to create the project. Whenever creating the project, source file will be coming automatically. In this source file, create the package, create the class. Inside the class, we can start the writing the script. So this is we are planning to go for the inside the Eclipse. Okay, fine. After downloading the Eclipse, it will be looking like this manner. For example, this is my drive, Selenium dump. In this Selenium dump, I have a lot of downloads related to our Selenium classes. Now, see, if you download the Eclipse, now it will be coming to the, this is a zip format that you need to go for the right click, start the extracting here. With that same name, it will be extracted and created one folder like this. This is a one folder is created. Once again, whenever you are downloading the Eclipse, that Eclipse will be downloaded in the form of zip format. And this zip format, you need to go for the extract and create the one folder, that Eclipse. And this folder, double click the folder, and Eclipse will be coming, and double click. Now here you can find a lot of files. In these files, this is a Eclipse folder, Eclipse exe file we are calling. And this is a symbol we can go for the Eclipse. Now you can just double click that Eclipse for launching. Whenever we can double click, now Selenium will be start the launching. Now it will be launching. But actually, it will not launch like that directly. What it will be launching means, and it will be asking the workspace name. Like that it will be asking, what is a workspace? Okay, we are already discussed. We need to store all our scripts into the one place. That we are calling as a workspace we are calling. Okay, fine. We need to create the workspace. For example, I want to create the workspace in my E drive, having the one of the folder name online classes. This is we have already defined, already created one folder is there. For example, if you go for here E drive and here online classes, this is a folder is there. This is a folder I'm creating so many workspaces. Okay na? Alright, in same place I'm planning to create the one workspace. So I'm creating. This is we are giving as a, and this is a, we can give the Pune group. I can give it Pune group, and this we are calling as a Selenium. Like that I need to give it here and a small, okay, a name. This is a workspace name I am giving. Pune group and underscore Selenium. This is I am giving, for example. And click OK button. Whenever click OK button, and one workspace will be created. See here, and it's a created one workspace. One folder will be created here. Where is that? This is we are calling as a one folder will be created in my E drive and online classes. In that folder, I want to it will be created. Now, if you open the Eclipse, and it will be open in this manner. This is we are calling as a Eclipse will be open. Whenever we are creating the workspace and click OK button, and it will be created welcome screen for the Eclipse, and close this Eclipse. This is close this welcome tab. This is a tab welcome. We need to close it. Okay na? If you close, this is actually Eclipse will be showing. This is we are calling as a Eclipse we are calling. Coming to the here Eclipse, and we have the 4 parts. We have the 4 parts, and that we are calling as a, this is a one of the part, and this is another part, this is the last one. Like that, 4 panels it will be divided. Whenever it will be dividing the 4 panels, now we'll start the using every day these 4 panels only. Now one by one we will discuss what is the use of these all the panels. Package Explorer. Whatever we are creating the projects, packages, classes, downloading the jar files and configure, that all will be come to the here only. Once again, what is a Package Explorer means? Whatever the projects we are creating, that list will be showing. Whatever the classes, packages we are creating, that all the list will be showing. Whatever the jar files you are configuring, that all will be showing to the here only. And coming to the second one, we want to write the manual test case to automation script here only. And whatever we are written the script here, that outline will be showing here. And this script, if you execute run button, now output will be showing to the console here. This is we are calling as a output it will be showing. So this is we are calling as a 4 panels we have. So what is the first one? We can go for that. This is we are calling as a first one, Package Explorer. Whatever the projects we are creating, whatever the script we are creating, everything files and list it will be showing here. And coming to the second one, you want to write any script. If you want to write any script, and that we can write as a manual test case to automation here. This script total outline will be showing here. And this script, if you want to run it, output will be showing to the here. So this is we are calling as a 4 panels we are using daily in our Eclipse. Come to the here. I want to start creating the project. How we can create the project? See, right click on the Package Explorer. This is a Package Explorer. Right click, new, create the, click on the Java project. Now it is asking the project name. Once again, I'll show it. How to create the project name? Right click on the package explorer, select the new, click on the Java project. Here I want to write any project name. For example, learning Selenium. Right. This is I'm giving the project name, and then I can go for the click on the finish button. Now see, one project will be created. See, with that same name project will be created. This is the way we can go for that. Right click on the project, right click on the package explorer, select the new, click on the Java project, enter the project name and click on the finish button. This is creating the project. You create the project, extract that project. Now see, it is showing the two files, src. This is we are calling as a source file, jre, Java Runtime System Libraries. This is the libraries. These are all the libraries, and Eclipse will be started using to run the Java environment. So don't touch these system libraries. Always we are working in the source only. Now in this source, I want to start the creating the project. Means package. First package. How to create the package? Right click on the source, select the new, click on the package, enter the package name and click finish button. Once again, right click on the source file, select the new, click on the package. Now write the package name. While writing the package name, you can use it domain name dot whatever your project. For example, I can go for the project is Gmail. So Gmail dot, what is the purpose? Test scripts. I want to store it in this package. So like that, we need to give the domain name, what is the project name, what is the purpose. This is you need to follow to create the package name. Once again, what is the domain name, what is your project name, what is the purpose of this package, that you can write it here. For example, I'll give it as a com dot and Sreekanth Classes dot. First we can start a discussion core Java. So with this name only I am creating, finish it. Now see, one package will be created. Same manner I can create many packages. Right click on the source, select the package and go for the com dot and Sreekanth Classes dot WebDriver scripts. We can write it here and click on the finish. So this is we need to create here. Like that, many packages we are creating. First we are creating the project, before that package, project, and before creating the project we are creating the workspace, project and package. In this package I am creating the one class. Right click on the package, select the new and click on the class. Once again, right click on the package, select the new and click on the class. And this class you can start the writing the name. While writing the name, class name must be, first letter should be capital letter. For example, I am writing the class name sample. It is giving the create a new Java class. But if you go for the small letter, yes, now it's giving the, this is a warning, you must be write the first letter the uppercase. So we can write the class always uppercase. And now you are selecting the public static void main. This is we need to select it. Whenever we can go for the public static void main, click on the finish button, class will be created. This is we are calling as a class. Okay. I want to increase the font, and now I can go for the, this is right. Right. It's a bold. I can go for that. And work. Okay, fine. This will be showing the bold and big size. Now this is double click on here. It's a maximizing. Double click on here. It's a minimizing. So I want to go for the maximize. Here, this is how we can go for that. This is we can go for that. And if you observe here, this is we are calling as a, this we are calling as a class we are creating. Now understood here. What is the class name? Here we can go for that. Now see. And here we are creating the class. Whatever you are giving the name, that name only it will be creating the class name. Public class. Whatever we are giving the name, class name is created. And this we are calling as the open braces of the class, closed braces of the class. Public static void main. This is the open braces. This is we are calling as a closed braces. So here within the main method only you need to write the script, and this script to only start the executing. So what is the main method means? It is a execution point we are calling as a main method. Once again, I can go for here. What is we can go for here means this is a public and is a class and class name. And same as public static void main. So open braces, close braces. In this class, you can write lot of information, declaration only. That you want to execute it, then we can call into the this main method only. Then only it will start the executing. So main method is nothing but execution point we are calling. Main method is nothing but execution point. If you want to execute anything, here onwards only it will be started. So this is we are calling as a main method we are using. And one more thing. Without main method also you need to create the class like this. But here we are declaring the information, but we can't execute it. So if you want to execute here, you must be go for the main method. You must be go for the main method. Understood? Right. So you can go for the public class, class name, and public static void main. For example, I'll show you how to execute any statement. Just I'm printing purpose one statement I can written SYSO control space, and it will be generating the full form. What is the shortcut? SYSO and then control space and full form system.out.println will be come out. Here you want to print anything that you can write here. Hi Selenium Sreekanth. This is we can write it. For example, I want to print it. And then next line I want to print SYSO control space. Hi Selenium WebDriver. This is we can write it. Now see, save this one. Double click on here. And then click on the run button. If you click on the run button, now it will start the executing. It will start the executing. And giving the result here. See, that is only I am calling. And first package explorer, all the list will be showing. and this is a class name. We are creating the manual SKS to automation script. Now see here, coming to here, I'm creating the Eclipse. I'm creating the Eclipse like this. What we have discussed here means this is I'm giving the this is we are calling as a package explorer. Whatever the files we are configuring, whatever the files we are adding, creating, all the list will be coming here. This is we are calling as a package explorer. And what is this means? And here we can start the writing our manual SKS to automation. So, and here we have written the all our script. This script outline, it will be showing into the here. This is we are calling as a package name. This is a package name. And this is we are calling as a class name. This is a class name. And it's a main method. This is a main method. Like that outline will be showing here. If you run the script, and output will be coming to the here. This is we are calling as a 4 panels daily we are using in our Eclipse to work on the Selenium WebDriver and to learn the core Java also. So this is we can go for the here today. So what we are discussing here, today means how to launch the Eclipse. How to launch the Eclipse. After launching the Eclipse, we need to create the workspace, and we need to create the project, and we need to create the package, and we need to create the class. In this class, we can start the writing our script. This is we can go for that. So system.out.println, if you write within the brackets, double quotation, if you write anything, that will be printing directly like this. So this is we are calling as a console output. We can go for that. It's very clear. Like that, we need to start the writing the simple script and executing. If you want to execute now, you can go for the, this is a run. Once again, I want to create the class. Right click on the package, select the new, click on the class, data types. This is I can give the class name. Select the public static void main here. Click on the finish button and another class will be created. Now you can double click here, maximizing. Again double click here, minimizing. This is how we can double click, maximize. Now see here once again, I want to create the class name by using data types name. So this is we can go for the data types we are calling as a class name. So public class, what we are giving the class name, that we can create in the class name, and main method we need to go for that. So this is we'll start the how to create the class. Coming to the in this program, you have a lot of doubts in this program. For example, sir, what is mean by class? What is mean by public? What is mean by void? What is mean by static? What is a string? Like that, you have a lot of doubts. So we'll start discussion about core Java, very basics onwards. Because of if you know the core Java, then only you are entered into the Selenium WebDriver very easy manner. So I'll start basics onwards core Java today. Before going for the core Java basics, we are going for the core Java basics, first we'll start a discussion access modifiers. What is access modifiers? Public, private, default, protected. So we can go for that. Public, private, default, protected. Now we'll start a discussion. What is a public? If you declare Coming to the public, if you declare any variable, any method as a public, any variable you can declare as a variable, any public you are declare as a method, that variable, that method you can access throughout the project anywhere. What is the public here? Access modified. If you declare any variable, any method, that variable, that method throughout the project anywhere we can access also. This is a access modified public. It is giving the accessing, it is allowing the variable and method, it is giving the limitations. So this is we are calling as a public, we are calling access modifier, we are calling first one is public. If you declare any variable, if you declare any method as a public, that variable, that method you can access throughout the project anywhere. Coming to the private. See, if you declare one variable, if you declare one method as a private, that variable, that method within the class only, inside the class only we can access. We declare one variable, one method as a private, that variable, that method we can access within the class only. Within the class only we can access. So this is we are calling as a limitation to access the whenever we are declare the private variable. Within the class only we can access. Coming to the default. What is mean by default? If you not mention any access modified, that we are calling as a default. You are not mentioned while declaring any variable. You are not mentioned as a public. You are not mentioned as a private. You are not mentioned as a protected. Anything you are not mentioned and declare the variable. Like we can go for the int I. Like that I am declaring. This is we are calling as a, I am not declare any access modifier. Just I am declaring int A. So here I am not declaring any access modifier. This is we are calling as a default. If you declare any variable as a default, that variable and that method you can access throughout the project all the classes. Throughout the package all the classes you can access. Whenever we are declaring the default, any variable, any method, that variable, that method you can access throughout the package all the classes. Throughout the package all the classes. And coming to the protected, what is mean by protected? Here, what is mean by protected means, for example, before going for the protected, you need to understand what is the parent class and what is the child class we will discuss. For example, this is one class. This is one class. This class having lot of information. This information we are accessing to this class. This we are calling as a parent. This is we are calling as a child. Once again, one class having some information. That information we can access into the some other class, and this class we are calling as a parent, this class we are calling as a child. Means giving class is nothing but parent, taking class is nothing but child. Generally see, parents will be there and their children, they are providing everything, lot of things. So this is we are calling as a parent, this is we are calling as a child. Giving people we are calling as a parent, taking people we are calling as a child. Same manner. This is one class, this is one class. This information we can access here. This is a parent, this is a child. For example, this is the class. You are accessing this information to the here. Now this is a parent. This is a class in the view of these two. This is a parent. This is a child we are calling. So like that we need to understand the parent and child. Coming to the here, protected. What is a protected? If you declare one variable and one method as a protected, that variable, that method we can access within the package all the classes. Some other package only child class you can access. Within the package all the classes, some other package only child class we need to go for that. Once again, protected. Whenever one variable, one method you are declared as a protected, that variable, that method we can access within the package all the classes. Some other package only child classes. Some other package only child classes. This is we are calling as a project. This is we are calling as a protected we are calling. If you declare one variable, one method as a protected, that variable, that method you can access within the package all the classes. In some other package you can't access. In some other package only child class, not you can't access. In some other package only child class. What is the meaning of parent child? This is the one class stuff. That class stuff you can access into the some other package. This is a parent. This is we are calling as a child class we are calling. So within the package all the classes, some other package only child class only you can access. So this is we are calling as a access modifiers we are calling. For example, what is a public access modifier? What is a private? What is a default? And what is a protected? So this is we are calling as a 4 access modifier. If you declare any variable as a public, private, now that variable, that method we can access throughout the project anywhere. If you declare one variable, one method as a private, that variable, that method we can access within the class only. Default, if you declare one variable as a default or one method as a default, that variable, that method you can access throughout the package all the classes only. Throughout the package all the classes only. And coming to the protected. And what is a protected? If you declare any variable, any method as a protected, that variable, that method, you can access within the package all the classes, but some other package only child class you can access. This is we are calling as a protected access modifier we are calling. Public, private, default, protected. What is the public? Within the project anywhere we can access. Private within the class only. Default within the package only. Protected within the package, all the classes. Some other package we can't access. This is we are calling as a protected we are calling. This is we are calling as a protected we are calling. So we have the access modifiers public, private, default, protected. Apart from this, you want to go for the data types. You want to store any data into the variable, you can use the some data type like byte, short, int, long. This is we are calling as a one type of data types. And then boolean, and then one more thing is after boolean, and we can go for the char, float, double. Apart from these all the things, another one is there, string. This is also we are calling as a one of the string, one of the data type. What we have the data type? Byte, short, integer, long. Boolean, char, float, double. This is we are calling as a 8 type of data types, and these 8 types, and we can discuss very clearly. See, byte. What is a byte? What is a byte? It can store the 8-bit data. It can store the 8-bit data. It can store the 8-bit data. So 2 power 8 minus 1, like that, 2 power 7. Now this will be working, and 2, this will be working minus, and this is a 128 or 127 2 and 127. In between it will be working. In between it will be working because of this is a 2 power 8 minus 1. Same manner you can go for some other byte and short. It can store the 16 bit, and you can go for the int, so long. Okay, these can store the 32 bit data. This can store the 64 bit data. So this is we are calling as a highest one right now. So byte can store the data 16 bit. Integer can store the data 32 bit. Long can store the data 64 bit. So this is we need to understand what is the data types. And one more thing. Yeah. What is the here we can go for here means different data types will be there. That different data types will start a discussion here. For example, I want to go for the byte. I want to declare byte b. This is we can declare. We are not declare any access modifier. That is we are calling as a default. Now b equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I want to declare system.out.println. Now b. So it is we are calling as a declaring as a, this will be declaring and throwing the error because of it can store only 127 to 128 minus 127 to plus 128, like that only it will be storing. But you are giving here what is the value means 123 for example. So these 123 will be printing here. For example, we are entering here 140, it will throw the error because of that limitation is exceed. If you declare the byte one variable, you can store it. You can store it up to minus 127 to plus 128. Like that it can store it. And that will be declaring the here. So, and this will be printing like this. For example, I want to store integer I. Now, whenever we can go for the I, declaring, this is we are calling as a variable. This is we are planning to declaring the variable. So, and these can store the 32 bit. Same manner, I equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if you system.out.println, variable name you can write it. It will be printing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like that it will be printing out. This is an integer. Next we can go for the long. This is we are calling as a 64 bit. And what we can go for the long means we are declaring one variable long L. L equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that we need to store it. So this is we are calling as a data types we are calling. What data types we have discussed here? This is one of the data type, and this is the data types: byte, short, long, integer, and boolean, char, float, double. For example, if you go for the boolean, what is the boolean? Boolean. So declaring one variable as a boolean, and if you click on if you go for the declaring the variable, okay, boolean, and that variable we can store it either true and either false. This is only we can store it. If you declare any variable as a boolean, that variable can store the true or false. This is a two only store it. Like this, boolean b equal to true, like that we can declare. And coming to one more point, char, it can store only characters, and this is we can write char, chc. It can declare char. This we can write 143. Like that, it will not accept the values. It will accept only single character, either one or either alphabet, one letter only, and either anything special character, whatever you require, that we can go for that, but single value only. So this is we are calling as a char. We are calling char can store the all our values, like a single value 1 a, and this we are calling as a ampersand. Okay, now this is how we can store it single colon, and it can store it and display also. So, and you can declare the char, that variable value can store as a you can go for an alphabet, and you can store as a in the char variable numeric and special characters also. This is we are calling as a char. We are calling. Next, coming to the float. What is a float? 12.007. So this is we are calling as a floating point. These floating points we can't access. This floating point, yes, you can access this floating point. You can store it. Now we can declare the float. For example, float f equal to 12.07, and system.out.println. Now we can write f. It will be printing same value. So this is we are calling as a float. We are calling. This is we are calling as a float. We are calling. What is a float? It can store the decimal points, and we can declare like this: float f equal to 12 and 12.0.7 and f, because of this is a float. And if you want to store the double, this is also floating points, but float is a 32-bit and double is a 64-bit is there. So float, if you want to store the some float values, float f equal to 123.56, like that it can store the decimal points also. But if you go for the double and VV, and this we are calling as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that we need to declare the variable. So this is we are calling as a data types. We are calling this we are calling as a data types. Like we can go for what we are discussing here, data types. First one, and this we are calling as a retesting, and this we are calling as a whenever we can go for the here. One second. Right, coming to it here. This is not. I can go for that, and this is we can go for the data types. Data types. This is a byte, can store 8-bit data,
and short, it can store the 64-bit data, and long, integer, it can store the, sorry, this is a 16-bit, not 64, 32-bit data. Long, it can store the 64-bit data. Right. Coming to the boolean, it can store the either true or false. Char, it can store single value. And other one is, we can go for the float, and we can go for the double. Decimal points, this is the 32-bit, 64-bit one is true. Apart from this, all the data types, one more is the string. It is not purely data type, it is a class. It is a keyword, it's not like a keyword, it's like a class. And that is the reason S must be capital letter, we can go for that. For example, I can go over here what we are discussing the data types in our Eclipse we are declaring. Okay? And simple example I can give it here. I am declaring byte B. This is a variable I am declaring. And this variable I can write 129, 127. Now, that B value I want to store it system.out.println. I can write that is B variable I can write. See, and save it and run it. Now since it's giving printing 127, like that we can go for that. 127. For example, I want to write here 129. Oh, sorry. Right. For example, we can write here 129. See, it's a throwing error because of byte variable can store only 127 to minus 127 or 128. So if you more than that, if you write that limitation is exceed, so it will throw the error. Now see, I can go for the 127 and it will remove the error. So byte limitation is minus 128 or 127. Minus 127 to plus 127. For example, I want to declare here more than 127 value. Now we can write a short. Yes. Yes equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be correct. See, more than above B value, we can store it as short because of this is a 16-bit data. So system.out.println, yes, I can go for that. And one more thing, I can go for an integer. More than this, I want to store it. 32-bit. I equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And if you want to go for this one, printing system.out.println, I. Now coming to here, and I want to go for a long, L-O-N-G, long, L, and declare L equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All the values you get for it. System.out.println, L. Now observe, save it, run it. Now we're here, see, giving the all the values like this. This is how we can go for all the values. So this is we are calling as a 127. That we are calling as a this is we are calling byte. This is a short, int, long. This is we can go for that 8-bit, and now we can go for the 32-bit, 16-bit, 64-bit. Like that we can declare the all our data types. So this is we are calling as a data types we are calling byte, short, int, long, and same manner boolean, char, and we can go for some other string also. So this is we are calling as a data types we are calling. What we are discussing today, how to download Eclipse and how to open the Eclipse, how to create the package, project, class, workspace, everything we have discussed, the navigations, and we can start the creating the classes. In the class, how we can write the script. This is we are planning to go for that. So this is we are calling as a we can go for the our data types concept. And we are discussing example here byte is short into long. And tomorrow we will discuss boolean, char, string, everything we can go for that. And then we will discuss the another topic, static and non-static we will discuss tomorrow. So this is today we can stop here in this manner. It's very clear, and now I can stop here.